Ohio. All right. All right, folks, it's happening again. It's a new year, folks. As of this stream, it is January 2nd, 2022. But yesterday was January 1st. The very first day of the year in the United States, we saw our very first police murder. And that's right, in Canton, Ohio. Canton police officer shoots, kills armed male just as 2022 begins. Notice the language in this headline. Day 1. The very first day. This was published 9:06 a.m. yesterday. So, in the very first parts of the morning, in the very first day of the new year, police already murder someone in Canton, Ohio. But again, notice the dehumanizing language. Killed armed male. Notice how, right, there's two people in the title, right? There's the Canton police officer, yes! And then there's the armed male. Well, okay, so the police officer shoots the armed male, which means the police officer is also armed. So let's assume, I don't know the identity of the police officer, but let's assume, right, the police officer's a male. Why doesn't the headline say armed male shoots, I don't know, like New Year's Eve, carjacker? Like let's just assume they were making a crime or something, right? Who knows what they're doing, right? Why is it that the police officer, yes, I'm the police officer, and then the victim of this murder is the armed male? Just think about the language here. A city police officer shot and killed an armed person. Now they're just a person. In southwest Canton, minutes after the new year began Saturday, according to police and the Stark County Coroner's Office. Police and the coroner's office were initially declining to identify the person killed and the person's age. They confirmed he was male. Police responded at 12:06 a.m. To the report of shots being fired at the 2300 block of 10th Street Southwest, just west of Harrison Avenue Southwest, according to a statement released early Saturday by Police Chief Jack Angelo. One officer who had left his vehicle encountered someone who had started to shoot his gun, the statement said, not identifying the police officer. The officer, in fear for his safety, fired his duty weapon at the subject and struck him. Now again, notice the very vague language. One officer who had left his vehicle encountered someone who had started to shoot his gun. Now what does this mean? This is the key phrase here. That's the key phrase. So the officer gets out of the vehicle. When officers get out of the vehicle, right, chances are they have their gun, either they're holding their gun or they have their gun drawn if they suspect that someone is a criminal or has a gun, right? So let's reword this. Armed male leaves vehicle, aims gun at person who then starts to shoot in self-defense. Is that the way? You could say that, right? But notice how, again, mainstream media will always take the side of the police. Now, again, is it necessarily correct that this person was shooting at the police officer in self-defense? We don't know. We don't have that information. But guess what? The mainstream media also doesn't have that information. But again, it always shows the police officer as in the right every single time. If you are outside and someone points a gun at you, you don't know who they are, and you have a gun, would you shoot in self-defense? Me, personally, I wouldn't be in that situation. But again, we don't know the actual details. But the idea that the default is that the cops are always in the right, to me, I find bizarre. What does that mean, to encounter someone? Who knows if the police officer shot first? What does an encounter mean? The officer, blah, blah, blah. He wrote that the person who was shot got first aid before Canton Fire paramedics rushed him into an ambulance to a hospital. Harry Campbell, chief investigator for the Stark County Coroner's Office, said the shot person, the victim, more like, got to the Altman Hospital at 12:25 a.m. Altman is about half mile from where the police shooting occurred. Police murder. A hospital doctor pronounced him dead at 12:27 a.m. Campbell said he notified the person's next of kin of the death. So they have the identity. Because it's an officer-involved shooting, by the way, The Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigations is overseeing the investigation. Angelo's statement said, he wrote that the Canton police have turned over all evidence of the case, including body camera footage. How about you just make it public? How about that? Neighbors account. Neighbors identified a 2-story home at 10th Street Southwest, just west of Smith Avenue Southwest, as the property where the yellow crime scene tape was strewn about until about 7 a.m. When a reporter knocked on the door, a man could be heard inside saying he didn't want to talk. Over a Christmas wreath on the door was a sign or sticker that said, "We, the people, are pissed." Stark County Auditor's records indicate the 103-year-old 3-bedroom home is an asset of self-directed individual retirement account that's based on a that's just a bunch of whatever. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what happened. She said a couple with several children older than 15 had rented a home. A sweetheart. Across the street, Nikki Heel, 19, said she arrived home at 12:30 to find the police cars and crime scene tape preventing her. Neal said the crowd gathered near her home watching the police officers scour the scene as they speculated, blah, 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 autopsy. Campbell, yeah. So anyway, we don't really have any details. No, there's apparently, according to this article, no witnesses. So, again, who writes the article? The police do, because they write the press release and local media just reprints it. Again, I would say my compromise position, neutral language. Armed male shoots armed male. That's neutral language. Right? That's my compromise position. But I will always err on the side that isn't the police in these instances. Just because the police always have the default assumption of innocence. Always. 98.3% of the time, police don't ever get charged with murdering someone. Right? So they always have the default claim to innocence. And so because of that, I will always err on the side against police. I don't know if this person, quote, deserved to be killed by police. I think it's impossible for someone to deserve to be shot and killed by police. I personally do. Unless they've got like a nuclear warhead that they're about to fucking, activate and destroy the entire fucking country. Unless that's the case, I don't think, and again, that's not going to happen, right? So I don't think that there is any situation where police should be able to kill people, right? But again, I will always side on the side against police because I think most of the time people do not deserve to be killed, if not all the time. And so I want to be a person that just says, hey, it's possible they were shooting in self-defense. If some guy aims a gun at me and I don't know if they're a police officer and I fear for my life, how come I can't shoot them if they're a cop? The cop can fear for their lives, but I can't? That's bullshit. That's bullshit. It's bullshit.